and welcome to Direct from Hearts, a face from the crowd. As you all know, a face from the crowd is all about bringing forward professionals from different fields so that the youth gets to know about the different options that are available and also so that they can get inspired by the experiences of these professionals. Before I introduce you to our guest today, let me remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and if you like our video, please do not forget to hit the like button as you watch the video, and if you really love them, share the videos as much as possible. So let's meet our extremely poised, sweet and down-to-earth guest who in her own words has risen from being a confused 20-year-old to a leader of leaders. Trust me, there's a lot to learn from Leema Bernad Viji, who happens to be our guest today. Her experiences and the way she shares her experiences is going to be of immense help to the youth. So now, let's meet her. Hello Leema, a very warm welcome to A Face from the Crowd. Very delighted to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Swarna. It's a pleasure being here.
Great. Leema, I was going through your profile and trust me, it was mind-boggling for me because there were so many things on the profile. I don't know from what was this, mass communication to NLP to etiquette training to leadership training. There were so many different things on the profile. It was difficult for me to remember. So how did you pick up this for so many different things? And why did you think of doing all this?
Okay, so let me tell you a secret. As a 20-year-old, I wanted to do mass communication and become a journalist. As in most, I think, conservative homes, parents think, or moms think that journalism will get you into trouble because you have night beats and newspapers work very late. So my mother, though she had great ambitions for me, so she thought it's better that, I take a safe job. So safe jobs, work very well for mothers. But after some time, you actually want to do what is your calling, right? So I had to break that notion that only engineers and doctors are successful. So, instead of waiting for someone else to lead the way and say that, okay, beyond engineering and beyond medicine, there are professions that can be mind-blowing and can be successful. And at the end of the day, these passions can convert into even some kind of a good income. So I thought, let me start. And someday, definitely, I will reach a position and get paid probably like a surgeon or like an architect. It was a long journey, but I have finally reached that place. So confused 20-year-old, not so confused Leema today.
That was brilliant, Leema. In fact, the whole purpose of this show is to bring that thought process among the youth as well as the parents, because as you said, we're all confused. I think at our age, when we were going through that phase, we knew what we went through. What the current youth is also going through, because there are still such parents who think that the engineering and medicine fetch you, a good position in the society, and that doesn't disappear anyway. It's still there, and
it's still there.
The purpose is to probably bring forward people from different professions so that they're aware of things. Brilliant. Now, again, another interesting thing on your profile, Leema, trill. Now, what is trill all about? And you said you are a brandsmith of trill. So what does this term actually mean? I have heard of goldsmiths, brandsmith.
Exactly. So, trill is a group of people who've got together to, create really world-class programs on leadership as well as on branding. So TRIL is an acronym actually. It stands for transformation, right? Everyone at some point in life want to transform themselves. There is a moment in your life when you realize that this much is not enough. I need not play small. Whatever my profession is, let me start being unreasonably big. You know what
Right.
no one else in my family has thought of, no one else in my society has thought of, no one in my neighborhood has thought of. I need to transform myself, right? R stands for reflection, right? You need to reflect and say, what are the best options in front of me? So if I'm saying that I'm going to transform myself, how am I going to transform myself? What am I going to do? Do I need to do some learning? Do I need to, make some changes in the way I carry myself? Do I need to make changes anyway? Then you find inspirations in and around you through books, through different media. Swarna, you're also doing that, meeting new people, getting inspired, because anyone can inspire you. Learning is the best way to get inspired. And the last thing is leader. L stands for leadership. We think that leaders are associated only with probably business or with politics, but leaders are, everywhere. You need leaders everywhere. So the journey, in your transformation requires you to reflect, you to be inspired, and then start leading using whatever capabilities you have in your armor right now, then put in more. So TRIL stands for that. And India, of course, because it's my country, I am a very proud Indian. I take pride in being an Indian. So, it's a pleasure to be identified as an Indian by just by the name of my company.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So,
Brilliant. So why did you start Dottingi service? Is
yeah,
it pronounced rightly? I mean, is that the way you pronounce
dotting I. Yeah. So the other company is
it? It's
dotting I.
dotting I, is it?
I. Dotting I.
Dotting
You dot
I,
the
is it?
I.
Okay, I thought it
Yeah.
was Dottingi services. Okay.
So now, Trill India, I started in partnership with two lovely ladies. One of them is called Indu Venugopal and the other one is called Rose Peck. And we are all in three different decades in our lives. You
Okay.
know, when we started, Indu was in her 30s, I was in my 40s, and Rose was in her 50s.
Okay.
So it was a, explosion of experiences for us, because,
Okay.
you have
I'm
every
sure.
decade bringing in different experiences to the table. So, how a 30-year-old thinks, a 40-year-old doesn't think the same way. So for us, it was very easy to relate to any customer. So before I co-founded Trill India, I had founded this company called Dotting I, which
Okay.
comes from the phrase dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So it's
Oh,
very symbolic, saying that, at some point in life, we need to feel complete,
right. Right.
right?
Wonderful.
And so dotting I is specifically catering to individuals in terms of personal branding and leadership. We conduct open workshops where people can come in, even if they don't belong to a corporate sector.
Okay.
In Trill India, the focus has always been the corporate sector, where we train, huge teams and individuals who are senior leaders.
That sounds fantastic, in fact. Very nice. Now, Leema, you're into leadership training as such, and you must be
Yeah,
seeing a lot of youngsters, and you're
yeah,
also with the corporates. So now you know that there's a huge gap between the desired skills and the available skills.
correct,
Isn't it? So, what
correct.
do you think about it? Why is there so much of gap, and how can one fill in those gaps? Because we always complain about not getting jobs. I mean, that's the general trend.
Correct,
We don't
correct,
realize
correct.
that there are flaws, that there's a lot of
Yeah,
upgrading that is required. So, what will be your message to all those youngsters who are still confused about what they should be doing?
yeah. So see, I'll tell you why there is a gap. India has a schooling system which is meant to churn out clerks. Our
Correct.
schooling system was created in such a way so that the British got highly educated, English speaking people to run this whole machinery. And after they left, we definitely got something called English, which helped us become international players because we know the language, but we stopped becoming creative. So somebody who passes out from 10th, or a schooling level in India probably has a lot of bookish knowledge, doesn't have, knowledge of the world, because we don't think that, a 10th pass should get any kind of job. We always think only after a degree, person should get a job. But unfortunately, there are many people who cannot continue, into the college system. So youngsters from a very young age, if they are taught, some kind of a skill that they can do with their hands. You need to have one skill in which you'll say, I'm proficient. If I have the skill, let me start a one-man army first, then probably I'll have a team. We never, help people discover their passion in school. Because if you help people discover what are you good at, what are you interested in, what you deeply enjoy doing, you will really know that this person is meant to be a musician. Don't make that person a doctor. I have, great regards for doctors and engineers, but everybody, just because they get, a high grade, is not meant to be a doctor and an engineer. You need passion to drive you and get up on a Monday morning and say, I have a surgery today, I have a doctor, I have an appointment with, some customer today. Only if you like your job will you do that. And in India, speaking their mind is also a very tough thing. People like to be nice. You agree with me, Swarna, that
Definitely.
if I say what is there in my mind, Swarna may like me a little less. So instead of that, let me cater to what she wants, especially if you're in authority.
Very well said. That's true. And that's probably the reason why many youngsters actually unwillingly end up as engineers these days. And
Correct.
most of them end up jobless. Most of them end up being unhappy with what they are doing throughout their lives, unfortunately.
Correct.
The
Correct.
major cause of their unhappiness.
Yes, yes, because
Away.
you have chosen something because out of pressure.
Absolutely.
And stress, can be handled for 5 minutes, 1 hour, one day. Also, when you handle stress, you know that it leaves you a little paralyzed in your thinking. Imagine having stress for a good 30 years of your career because
Lifetime
you've chosen
stress,
the
that
wrong
is.
way.
Not only 30
Lifetime
years,
stress.
lifetime stress, in fact.
Yeah, so I'm saying good 30 years people have, successful careers, and
Yeah.
you're stressed because you didn't have at that time the right, skills, or, you didn't know how to say, I don't want to do this.
Probably. Now, you,
Yeah.
since you anyway have been trained on NLP,
Yeah.
Lima, you must be aware,
Yeah.
many of the youngsters these days, I don't know, you must be knowing a bit about the mindset of people as well. Many youngsters these days take up something. They have a very fickle mind. They're not sure. I mean, they try something, they feel they don't like this, and then they pick up something. There's no focus at all, I feel. What do
Yeah.
you think about this? Why does this happen? Is it because of lack of knowledge, or what exactly is it? Don't they, or is it because they don't spend enough time on discovering themselves?
So if I look at my life, I'm the wrong person to quote on anything about confusion, because I
Okay.
think, I finally, I would have understood, at a very young age what I wanted to do, but was always conditioned to accept what the world wants. I think everyone in their life will be confused for a very, very long time. No one is a Buddha. Confusion is part of life, Swarna, and it is
Okay.
okay for a 20-year-old to be confused than a 45-year-old.
So
Yeah.
basically, you mean to say that trial and error is a must in life, and unless you really try out different things, you will not be able to discover yourself. That's the process of discovering yourself, maybe.
Yes. I agree when people are confused and are looking for the thing that fits them, right? So we will survive in a job, but that's not life, right? That is survival. So if you choose correctly, then you celebrate. So
Absolutely.
you have to decide. I'm a mother of a 20-year-old, And I'm absolutely okay if he says that, Amma, I'm not sure what I want to do in life. So
Great.
that's it.
Great. That's a different perception entirely, I would say, where most of us Indians, we expect our kids to be, focused, to be able to understand themselves, at least know what they want to do at a very early age. By college, you're expected to know everything. Most of us.
Most.
So this is definitely a different perception, I would say. And now, since you're into leadership training, Leema, what exactly do you feel about bringing up leaders? How important is it for youngsters to be leaders as such? When you say leaders, what exactly do you mean?
See, who is a leader? A leader is someone that, there can be no leader without followers. Leadership is something that comes from within. So when you say leadership, there are certain aspects that come from within, and one of the aspects that should come from within is this deep desire to learn and to, transform not just anyone's life, but your own life first. So a leader is someone who has to understand that change starts within. You go out and then you change things according to whatever situation is given to you. We need leaders to give us, a different perspective. Leaders cannot have the same perspective that everyone else has. Leaders are also people who can look at a view that nobody else sees and, share that vision with other people. So a leader has to be truly someone that when you meet, you have to feel inspired. That I would call, as a true leader.
True, definitely. Basically, a very creative, innovative, dynamic person who can also probably influence people. Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
absolutely. Wonderful. So now one last question, Leema. You have come a long way in your life, from being a confused 20-year-old to be a leadership trainer, now establishing your own company and showing the path to many others.
Yeah.
What were the challenges that you faced and what were your learnings out of life?
Mahatma Gandhi, I'm quoting him, said, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. So, right now, I would say that, there are different sets of challenges. When I began my career, there were challenges, even very simple, small things that, women in my organization did not have a restroom. And so from that stage to now having, beautiful restrooms for women and men, we have come a long way. We have come a long way. I think even today, many women have tough times because they leave the best decisions in their lives to somebody who has more authority than them, right? So whether it is their husband or whether it is somebody in their family who's older to them, they always leave the decision to them instead of taking that onus, and saying that, let me decide how I'm going to shake the world. People have to understand that I am in charge of my life and my happiness. No one else is in charge. And it's not right on me to say that, I'm going to be happy only if somebody makes me happy. See, as an entrepreneur in Bangalore, I, salute this city. I would say that it has given me this opportunity without having a godfather, without having anyone in any place of influence, starting a company and co-founding companies with two other women. We hustled for the company. We went out and asked for business. We spoke to people. The first contract that we got was from eBay, and it's a huge organization in the world. It could have gone to anyone, but to be fair, to a lot of people, no one became an obstacle in our way. Because we did not go to people for help and saying, find us an easy way out. We thought, if you're going to go even brick by brick to build an organization, let's do it. So we have laughed at those days when we have not made money, and we have enjoyed the days when, we felt great, we got all these contracts. So it's been a great journey. I would tell anyone who's out there that you may not win at the end of every race, but enjoy the journey, right? You need to enjoy the journey, whether the result of this is great or not, enjoy.
Right. Brilliant. That was a brilliant winding up message, I would say, Leema. To just enjoy
Thank you.
your journey instead of, always trying to win your way out in things. So,
Correct.
yes, because what happens is when we always try to win, what happens is that you end up being under pressure. There's a lot of negativity that oozes out, bitterness.
True, and very true, Swarna. This pandemic has shown us we can do anything from a scratch. In the long run, you have to thrive every day. You have to know that at the end, whatever kind of tough days you have had, as long as you have enjoyed the journey, it's a good journey. So the pandemic is going to be a very small part of our life. It's
Lives.
not going to be our life, right? So success, requires really hard work. It requires you to persevere. It requires you to have a vision. So all this cannot be stopped by a pandemic, and 100% love for your work. So I would say the pandemic period is a time that you're actually rejuvenating and learning. What do I need to do now to change the trajectory of my work? And how do I see, if there was no pandemic, Swarna, you and me would not have got here together. You wouldn't have
Absolutely.
wanted to know me.
True.
So I look at this as an opportunity given, saying that, go out and seek more people in the world. Don't be confined by any boundary.
True, true. Very well said. In fact, yes, many people are rediscovering themselves, trying out newer avenues, during this pandemic. Life doesn't stop, as you said. It shouldn't
Yeah,
stop. You shouldn't let it stop you, in fact. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the whole mantra of life, and that was very well voiced out by you, Leema. Great having you on the show. Thank you for being here. You have definitely been a value addition for our show. I'm sure, I think people need to mark her words about success, about leadership, about life itself, about being confused. There were so many, takeaways from her conversation. I hope people do really learn something out of this. Thank you for being on the show, Leema.
Thank you so much, Swarna. Have a good day, and I hope to
Thank you.
meet you sometime in the future, in person, definitely. You're
True,
welcome to
true.
come to Bangalore, and we'll meet.
Oh, sure, sure. Bangalore is like a home to me. I have people there actually, Lima.
Okay,
So yes, it's an own place. Maybe someday we may meet. For all I know, I don't know how it may work out.
definitely. Looking forward.
So that was Leema Bernad Viji for all of you. Trust me, I enjoyed every bit of the conversation. If you did like the video, please do not forget to hit the like button, share the video as much as possible, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Your subscriptions are important to us. Please stay tuned for further videos. Bye bye and see you soon.